Hello and welcome to Live Better, presented by Medical Mutual. I'm Chaz McGrain, and I'm here to help you live healthier through all stages of life. Resistance training, also known as strength training or weight training, is a form of exercise that uses resistance to build muscle, strength, and endurance. Resistance training can help people of all ages reduce the risk of disease and improve their overall quality of life. One benefit of resistance training is maintaining muscle mass as we age. Metabolic rates typically decrease as we get older, so maintaining and increasing muscle mass can help keep our metabolic rates from decreasing. A high-performing metabolic system helps ward off weight gain. Resistance training can also help manage symptoms associated with arthritis, cardiovascular disease, diabetes, hypertension, low back pain, obesity, and more. It is recommended to resistance train at least 2 to 3 times per week. A well-balanced resistance training routine will target all major muscle groups. A properly designed resistance training routine will be made up of sets and reps. Sets is how many times each exercise will be completed in the workout. Reps is how many times each exercise will be completed within each set. It is generally recommended to complete 2 to 3 sets of 10 to 12 repetitions for each exercise. To help you better determine how much resistance or what weight dumbbells to use, it is recommended that the last 2 to 3 reps of every set are challenging but doable. There are thousands of different resistance training exercises, and most people don't know where to begin when selecting exercises for a resistance training program. I will be demonstrating exercises for each major muscle group that you can complete with minimal equipment and space. I will start off simple, demonstrating baseline techniques for you. We will then move on to more advanced options. Our first upper body exercise will be a single arm supported row. To do a single arm supported row, you're going to start with your left knee on the bench and your left hand on a bench. You're going to hold the dumbbell in your right hand. With a fully extended arm, you're going to pull the dumbbell up towards your rib cage and then release slowly. As you pull, it's important to drive your elbow backwards while trying to get your palm up to your rib cage. A more advanced option for a row would be a dumbbell bent over row. For a dumbbell bent over row, you're going to have a dumbbell in each hand. You're going to hinge forward, which means a soft bend in your knees, while lowering your chest down and driving your hips back. From this position, you're going to pull your palms up towards your ribs while pinching your elbows back and release slowly. It's important to remember, we want our elbows tight to our rib cage and our palms to get up as high as our ribs. Our first lower body exercise will be a supported squat. When we do a supported squat, we want to make sure we have a hard surface that we can sit down onto. We want to stand about 6 inches away from that surface, feet slightly wider than shoulder width apart, with our toes slightly pointed outward. We want our shoulders to remain nice and tall, with our hands resting just in front of our chest. And we're going to sit down onto that box and stand back up. Sitting down, driving through the heels, standing back up. You're going to repeat this 10 to 12 times, with an emphasis on driving through the heels, keeping your knees over your ankles, and keeping your chest tall. For a more advanced squat option, we're going to do a dumbbell front squat. When doing a dumbbell front squat, we want to hold dumbbells up at our shoulders with our elbows high. Our feet want to be slightly wider than shoulder width apart, with our toes slightly turned outward. We're going to sit back into our squat, sitting into our heels, and then driving into the heels to stand back up. It's important to keep a tall chest and to drive through the heels as you squat. We will start down on the ground for a kneeling push-up. For a kneeling push-up, we want to start with our knees shoulder width apart. From this position, we are going to come down onto our hands. Our hands will be slightly wider than shoulder width apart. From here, we want to shift our weight forward until we have a straight line from our knees through the hips up to our shoulders. Once we're in this stable position, we will lower our chest down towards the floor, keeping our elbows tight to our body, and then press back up. It's important to remember, elbows tight to the body and maintaining a straight line from your knees through the hips up to the shoulders. Our next exercise will be a dumbbell bench press. For a dumbbell bench press, you're going to need 2 dumbbells. The movement starts with laying flat on your back with both arms fully extended. From this position, we will slowly lower the weights down to shoulder height, and then we'll press them back up towards the ceiling. Now we will do a hip press. To do a hip press, we will start out down on the ground and we will lay flat onto our back. Once you're onto your back, you're going to rest your palms on the floor, and we want our feet about 6 inches from our butt, shoulder width apart. Once you're in this stable position, we're going to push through our heels, popping our hips up towards the ceiling, and hold, and then slowly return back to the starting position. It's important to drive through the heels and to pop our hips up as high as we can. Our next exercise will be a dumbbell Romanian deadlift. A dumbbell Romanian deadlift, also known as an RDL, we'll use 2 dumbbells. For our starting position, we want our feet just inside shoulder width apart, and we want the dumbbells resting on our thighs. From this position, we want to pull the shoulders back, and we're going to lower the weights down by driving our hips back and lowering the wrists down to our shins. From here, you'll drive through the heels and push your hips forward to come back to the starting position. Driving the hips back, pushing through the heels to stand up. Our next exercise will be a kneeling forearm plank. To do a kneeling forearm plank, you're going to start out on your knees. Once you're on your knees, we are going to drop down onto our elbows. Our elbows should be shoulder width apart, directly under our shoulders. Our palms should be resting flat on the floor, elbow width apart. From this position, we will drop our hips low until we feel our core engage. From here, we're going to hold for 20 to 30 seconds while we squeeze our butt and pull the belly button up to our spine. Our next exercise will be a forearm plank. To do a forearm plank, we're going to start out on our knees and we're going to make our way down to our elbows. We want our elbows directly underneath our shoulders. We want our palms flat on the floor. Once you feel stable in this position, you're going to extend your right leg back and then your left. In this position, we want to focus on maintaining a rigid core by pulling our belly button up to our spine. And we're going to hold this position for 20 to 30 seconds. Thank you for watching this Live Better video. Use what you learned here to create your own fitness plan. If you enjoyed what you watched here, please tap that thumbs up button and consider subscribing. For Medical Mutual, I'm Chaz McGrain, helping you live healthier through all stages of life.